Hello everyone, my name is Kamala Bədəlova. I am an assistant professor of the General and Toxicological Chemistry Department of Azerbaijan Medical University. Today, the topic of our lecture will be fused heterocyclic compounds, flavonoids and alkaloids. At first, I will welcome all my second course pharmacy students. My groups, following my groups, and me, of course, me and the future of our students, because they will be pharmacists, future pharmacists. Okay, I will go to the heterocyclic compounds. I hope my students remember from the first lecture what is heterocyclic compounds, which compounds are they. Heterocyclic ring systems common in drug structures. Ring contain, in addition to carbon atom, other atoms like nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur. So nitrogen, oxygen and sulfur in heterocyclic compounds, in medicine, in pharmacy, they are so important elements. From the heterocyclic compounds, the famous heterocyclic compounds, they are pyrrolidine, piperidine, piperazine, morphalin. They are, as you remember, my dear students, we had some classification of the heterocyclic compounds. We had aliphatic heterocyclic, saturated heterocyclic compounds, unsaturated heterocyclic compounds, and aromatic heterocyclic compounds. First, pyrrolidine, piperidine, piperazine, and morphalin. They are related to the saturated heterocyclic compounds, but the following heterocyclic compounds, they are aromatic: pyrrole, imidazole, pyrazole, thiophene, thiazole, triazole, oxazole, pyridine, pyrimidine, but indole, benzimidazole, benzoxazole, quinolin and quinazolin, they are fused heterocyclic compounds. I hope you remember what is fused heterocyclic compound. One part they are benzene and another part heterocyclic compound. But we have also the compound where two parts of this ring, they are heterocyclic cycles. When the fused heterocycles, the member of the benzo-fused heterocycles, this is indole. Indole, such a bicyclic heterocyclic structures which has a benzene ring and a pyrrole ring sharing one double bond. Indole is an important heterocyclic system because it's a beautiful interproteins in the form of the amino acid tryptophan. This is structure of the tryptophan. It is a basis of important drugs such as indomethacin, and because it provides the skeleton of the indole alkaloids, biologically active compounds from plants, including strychnine. Medicinal compounds contain indole, serotonin. Serotonin is a monoamine neurotransmitter derived from tryptophan, synthesized in serotonergic neurons in the central nervous system, and enteroromorphin cells in the gastrointestinal tract of animals, including humans too. Serotonin is also found in many mushrooms and plants, including fruits and vegetables. This structure of the sumatriptan we can use for the treatment of migraine. Serotonin a neurotransmitter, and ondansetron. This is antiemetic treatment we can use for the treatment of vomiting. Medicinal compounds contain indole. What is LCD? LCD, this is lysergic acid diethylamide. It is a hallucinogenic drug acid when people walk over a building claiming that they can fly. They are probably on lysergic acid, LCD. It contains an indole ring made up of a benzyl ring and a pyrrole ring fused together. This benzyl ring, pyrrole ring, and together we can prepare indole. Isoindole is more basic than indole. According to Lewis' definition, acid is acceptor of electrons, base is donor of electrons. But in our slide you can see the isomers of indole and isoindole. Indole and isoindole, they are isomers. I think that you remember what is isomers. They are structures, they are compounds which has the same composition but different structure. Indole is more stable than isoindole. Reactions of indole in electrophilic aromatic substitution. The chemistry of indole is similar to that of pyrrole ring with a relatively unreactive benzyl ring due to the electron withdrawing effect of the nitrogen. However, pyrrole reacts with electrophiles at all positions but prefers 2 and 5, the second and fifth positions, while indole much prefers the third position. Why in indole? Reaction at the third position simply involves the rather isolated enamine system in the 5-membered ring and does disturb the aromaticity of the benzyl ring. Nitration, we can see the examples of these reactions of the electrophilic substitution reaction. For example, nitration reaction, sulfonation reaction, and halogenation reaction. Basicity of the purine. Basicity of the purine. Purine has 3 basic pyridine-like nitrogens with lone pair electrons in sp2 orbitals in the plane of the ring. The remaining purine nitrogen is non-basic and pyrrole-like with its lone pair electrons as part of the aromatic p-electron system. Here we can see the structure of pyrrolidine and the structure of the pyrrole. And what is pK? pK is a constant of the ammonium ion for the basicity of the molecules. Basicity of sp3 nitrogen in indole and purine. The indole sp3 nitrogen is more basic than that of purine. Since purine has 3 aromatic sp2 nitrogen withdrawing the electrons, the sp3 nitrogen has less electron to give less basic. We get base, smaller pK for ammonium ion, and stronger base, larger pKa for ammonium ion. Purine. Two purine bases of nucleic acids. So we can see here adenine and guanine. Adenine and guanine, as you know, they are bases of the nucleic acid. What is nucleic acid? Which types of the nucleic acid do you know? The RNA and DNA. And then which derivatives of the purine? They are derivatives of the purine molecule. But another derivatives of the purine, hypoxanthine and xanthine. And also uric acid, 2,6,8,3-hydroxypurine. This is uric acid. But here we can see another structure. What is this structure? This is lactam tautomer. What is lactam form? What is lactam form? Now I will show you the difference between two structures. But in this structure you can see OH near or double bond. But here in this structure, in lactam form, you will see, but this lactam and lactam form are related to uric acid, to the molecule of uric acid. But in lactam form, you can see, as you remember, my dear students, this group, carbonyl group, carbon bonded with oxygen by double bond. Okay, so you know that OH group can't exist on at the double bond because hydrogen of the oxygen will migrate to the nitrogen, and we can form lactam form of uric acid. Lactam is cyclic amide which undergo tautomerism to lactam. But this compound, this molecule, the structure of ammonium hydrogen urate. DNA base pairing. In DNA we have which bases? This is adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine. Now you can ask me, what is these points? As you know, we have chemical bonds. From the chemical bonds we know hydrogen bond. Hydrogen bond we can form between oxygen and hydrogen, nitrogen and hydrogen, and also between hydrogen and fluorine. In this case, we can show you the hydrogen bond between hydrogen and oxygen, nitrogen and hydrogen. Okay, between adenine and thymine we have 2 hydrogen bonds. Between guanine and cytosine we have 3 hydrogen bonds. Methyl xanthines ion methyl derivatives of xanthines, known alkaloids in coffee, tea, and cocoa, caffeine, theophylline, and theobromine. Theophylline, theobromine, and caffeine, they are common names of these compounds. But except these names, also you remember we have chemical names. But each compound they have chemical name and common name. What is alloprenol? Alloprenol is an isomer of hypoxanthine, which is used in treatment of hypouric acid anemia and gout. It inhibits xanthine oxidase, the enzyme that transforms hypoxanthine and xanthine to uretide. But mercaptopurine 6-sulfonylpurine inhibits the biosynthesis of purine bases and is used in chemotherapy of cancer. This alloprenol, molecule of alloprenol and mercaptopurine. Uric acid, this is uric acid, gout, and alloprenol. Another purine, this is uric acid, and in the last slides I showed you the molecule of the alloprenol and uric acid. But now I will repeat for you for the good explanation, for the good understanding. Another purine, uric acid, occurs widely in nature. It is used by birds and to some extent by humans is as a way to excrete excess nitrogen, but it causes much distress in humans when crystalline uric acid is deposited in joints. We call the pain gout, and it is not funny. The solution is a specific inhibitor of the enzyme producing uric acid, and it is no surprise that a compound closely resembling uric acid, alloprenol, is the best. Here you can see guanine, xanthine, and uric acid, the transformations of each answer. Purine synthesis. We can synthesize purine by the reaction of 4,5-diaminopyrimidine with formic acid. It will give us purine or the acetic anhydride to give methyl substitute purine at imidazole ring. But the reaction we can prepare another reaction, substitute imidazole with formamide. Well, by this reaction we can get substitute purine at pyrimidine ring. What is pyrimidine? This is pyrimidine ring. This is imidazole ring. Guanylene and isoguanylene. A benzene ring can be fused on to the pyridine rings in two ways, giving the important heterocycles guanylene with the nitrogen atom next to benzene ring, and the isoguanylene with the nitrogen atom in other possible position. Guanylene forms part of guanine anti-malarial alkaloid. It is guanine, this guanine, and isoguanylene forms the central skeleton of the papaverine, antispasmodic opium alkaloid. But how we can, but in each nomenclature, very important, how can we name this compound, how we can numerate this compound, from which element we will start the numeration. But in this case, in the guanylene, we will start to numeration from the nitrogen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is very easy. And for you can see here two isomers. One of these isomers we will name as 2-methyl quinoline. This is second position, and 3 and 4, of course, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 methyl quinoline. One of these isomers we will name as quinaldin 2 and lipidin 3. And of course we have another compounds, for example 2 and 4 quinolones, 4 and 5. This is one hydrogen quinoline, 2 on. What is on is our carbonyl group, and 1 hydrogen quinoline, 4 on, respectively. The presence of nitrogen atom in this structure produces an irregular distribution of the electron density in both heterocyclic and carboxylic rings, a situation that alters the physicochemical properties and reactivity. But the structures of the naphthalene and vinylene, both of them they are fused, but one of them related to the aromatic compound, another this is heterocyclic compound. The slides related, but by these slides we can describe basicity of the quinoline and the isoquinoline. How? The lone pair electrons of the nitrogen are close to benzene ring and thus get involved with the pair electrons of benzene play with neighbor kits, as you can see from this structure. And the lone pair electrons of nitrogen are far from benzene ring and thus get not involved with the p electrons of benzene, but no neighbor kits to play with. Basicity also depends on the ability of the nitrogen to give electrons for. Reactivity of quinolines. The chemistry of quinolines close like pyridine. Quinoline and isoquinoline both have basic pyridine-like nitrogen atoms which undergo electrophilic substitutions. Unless reactive toward electrophilic substitution, then benzene because of the electronegative nitrogen atom that withdraws electrons from the ring. Electrophilic substitution occurs on the benzene ring rather than on the nitrogen containing pyridine ring, and the mixture of substitution products is obtained. Reactions of quinoline electrophilic substitution. Quinoline chemistry is a mixture of that of benzene and pyridine. For this compound we have the chemistry of benzene ring and the chemical properties of the heterocycle. Electrophilic substitution favors the benzene ring and nucleophilic substitution favors the pyridine ring. The nitration of the quinoline gives two products, the 5 nitroquinolines and the 8 nitroquinolines in about equal quantities, so you will realize that the reaction really occurs on protonated quinoline. This is protonated quinoline, like protonation of the quinoline. Yeah, we'll pull electron bioprotonation to destroy any hope of nitro group to come to pyridine ring. Reactions of the quinoline electrophilic substitution. Aclidine. Aclidine also heterocyclic compound, but fused heterocyclic compounds with two. But in this compound we can see two benzene rings and one heterocycle. Which heterocycle? Pyridine, which gives four nitration products all on the benzene rings. But if you want electrophiles to come to pyridine ring, then give the ring some electrons by formation of nitrogen oxide. But in this structure you can see nitrogen oxide. The aclidine nitrogen oxide gives just one product in good yield. Nitration takes place at the only remaining position on the pyridine ring. But there is a remaining position on the pyridine ring. Reactions of the isoquinoline electrophilic substitution. The nitration of isoquinoline, the ratio behaved giving 72% of the isomer 5 nitroisoguanilin at 0 degree. This nitration reaction. Synthesis of quinolines. Anilines, the structure of the aniline, I think you remember, aromatic amine. Condensation of 1,3 dielectrophiles in the simplest case, a 1,3 dicarbonyl derivative with an aniline forms a beta amino enone, which can evolve to an aromatic derivative by treatment with condensate acids. Scraup reaction. What is Scraup reaction? Conjugate addition of the amine under acid catalysis. With acid catalysis, the ketone now cyclizes to give a dihydroquinoline after dihydration. Oxidation to the aromatic quinoline is an easy step accomplished by many possible oxidants. Here you can see the formula of the acrolein. At first, what is acrolein? This is unsaturated. Which group this was? This is aldehyde group. It means that this is unsaturated aldehyde. Simple example of the Scraup reaction you can see from the following reaction. Is traditionally the Scraup reaction was carried out by mixing everything together and letting it trip. A typical mixture to make a quinoline without substance on the pyridine ring would be the aromatic amine, concentrated sulfuric acid. This concentrated sulfuric acid, glycerol with aromatic amine, concentrated sulfuric acid, glycerol, and nitrobenzene. This is nitrobenzene. All heated this aromatic amine. That I will repeat for you. Aromatic amine, glycerol, concentrated sulfuric acid, and the nitrobenzene. This is nitrobenzene. You know that pH, this is phenyl group. All heated up in a large flask at over 100 degrees with a white condenser. The glycerol was the provide acrolein by dehydration, which provides the necessary 3 carbon carbon to close the ring. The nitrobenzene was to act as oxidant. Synthesis of isoquinoline, alkylation of phenylethylamine by acyl halide. Then electrophile is made from an amide and POCl3 to close the ring and generate dihydroisoquinoline, which is then reduced to isoquinoline. You know that among all the heterocyclic compounds, we can meet with a lot of biological active compounds. One of them, they are flavonoids. Let me introduce to the flavonoid what is flavonoids. Flavonoids are a group of plants polyphenolic secondary metabolites showing a common three-ring structure, widely distributed in different amounts according to the plant, species, organ, developmental stage and growth conditions. The flavonoids have aroused considerable interest recently because of their potential beneficial effects on human health, as well as their role in plant metabolism. They have been reported to have antiviral, anti-tumor, anti-allergic, anti-platelet, anti-inflammatory and antioxidant activities. Structure of flavonoids. Their basic structure is a skeleton of diphenylpropan, namely two benzene rings, ring A and ring B. See the feature, but here we can see this the structure diphenylpropan, linked by a three-carbon chain that forms a closed piran. This piran molecule, piran ring, heterocyclic ring containing oxygen atom. The carbon ring with the benzenic A ring. Therefore, the structure is also referred to as C6, where our C6, later I will show you C6, C3 and also C6. In most cases, by ring is attached to position 2 of carbon ring, but it can also bind in position 3 or 4. This together with the structural wedges of the ring B and the structure of the B and the patterns of glycosylation and hydroxylation of the three rings makes the flavonoids one of the larger and more diverse groups of phytochemicals. Classification, which classification, how we can classify and about little about the chemistry of flavonoids. Flavonoids are classified in 6 major subgroups depending on the carbon of the carbon ring on which B rings is attached and the degree of unsaturation and oxidation of carbon ring. B ring, here. B ring is linked in position 3 of the ring carbon, isoflavones. B ring is linked in position 4, neoflavonoids. But for isoflavonoids are halcon, flavanone, flavone, and flavanol. Neoflavonoids are anthocyanin flavonoid. B ring is linked in position 2, flavones, flavonoids, flavanones, flavanols, catechin, and anthocyanidin. Open carbon ring, halcon. This open carbon ring. This open carbon. This is open C ring. If you remember our structure, in flavonoids we have 3 main rings: A, B, C. But in halcone, this 3 ring is in open state. But which source? But in this slide for you, for my students, I think that's so interesting because in this slide you can see a lot of fruits, vegetables, and different products. Source of the flavonoids: flavanol, anthocyanins, flavanone, alkones, flavone, and isoflavonoids. But in next step I will show you each one. Classification of the flavonoids: class flavone is flavone, but in which subclasses: apigenin, luteolin, tangeritin, diosmitin. Sources: celery, parsley, red pepper, and biloba. Flavanol. Flavanol, this is structure of the flavanol. Subclasses: camphorol, rutin, miracetin, quercetin, murin. Sources: yellow onions, scallions, broccoli, apple, and berries. Flavanone, the structure of the flavanone. Subclasses: naringin, naringenin, hesperin, eriodictyol. Source: orange, lemons, and grapes. Class anthocyanin, this is structure of the anthocyanidin. Subclass: cyanidin, malvidin, pelargonidin, pionidin, delphinidin. Source: blueberries, plum, brinjal, and grapes. Class isoflavonoids, the structure of the isoflavone. Subclasses: genistein, daidzein, and glycine. Source: soybean, soy foods, legumes. And at last, halcone. This is structure of the halcone. If you remember, it was open C ring. Subclasses: floritin, arbutin, halconaringenin. Sources: tomatoes, pears, strawberry, white products. Beneficial effect associated with the consumption of flavonoids. Which effects we can list here? Reduced risk of the cardiovascular disease, reduction of blood pressure due to its vasodilatory effect, delays or prevents the onset of diseases caused by free radicals, best antioxidant, anti-inflammatory activity, improvement of endothelial functions, impedes the function by free radicals, inhibits platelet aggregation, antiviral, antibacterial. Why I list you a lot of beneficial effects of the flavonoid associated with the consumption of the flavonoid? Because you are studying in the medical university, you are students, pharmacy students, because you must know about this important information. Antioxidant activity of flavonoids. But at first, what is antioxidants? Antioxidants are compounds that protect cells against the damaging effects of reactive oxygen species, such as singlet oxygen, superoxide, peroxyl radicals, and peroxynitrite. The antioxidative activity of flavonoid is connected with the structure of the molecule, the presence of the conjugated double bonds, and the occurrence of functional groups in the rings. An imbalance between antioxidants and reactive oxygen species results in oxidative stress, leading to cellular damage. Oxidative stress has been linked to cancer, aging, atherosclerosis, ischemic injury, inflammation, and neurodegenerative disease. As you see, Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, they are not good disease, they are very bad disease, and usually we can meet this disease in old persons. Flavonoids may help provide protection against this disease by contributing along with antioxidant vitamins and enzymes to the total antioxidant defense system of the human body. Antioxidant flavonoids, the quercetin, xanthohumol, isoxanthohumol. Among all the flavonoids, quercetin is the most abundant dietary flavonol and is potent antioxidant. But about the role of the antioxidants on human health. Now I will list all the roles. Support kidney function, improve reproductive function, maintain good dental health, improve nervous system functioning, have anti-aging effect, protect liver, support immune system, and improve defense power of the body. Reduced obesity. You know that obesity now are very actual problem in our time. And obesity can cause for many diseases. Maintain healthy vision, offer protection against digestive disorders, and support respiratory system. But as you know, we live now in the time where we can get the against for the coronavirus. But antioxidants also good compounds against these viruses, microbes, and bacteria. Now we'll go to the second very important compounds, which include heterocyclic compounds. They are alkaloids. But in this slide you can see a lot of chocolates, coffee, tea, and morphine. They are alkaloids. But I think that a lot of students they like to drink coffee, but as other peoples will like every day to drink a lot of tea, and we all, I think that we like to eat chocolates. Let's introduce what is alkaloids. Alkaloids are the group of naturally occurring chemical compounds that contain mostly basic nitrogen atoms. This group also includes some related compounds with neutral and even vaguely acidic properties. Some synthetic compounds of similar structure are also termed alkaloids. In addition to carbon, hydrogen and nitrogen, alkaloids may also contain oxygen, sulfur, and more rarely other elements such as phosphorus, bromine, and chlorine. Which properties of the alkaloids we have? At first, we will describe alkaloids. Contains nitrogen, usually derived from an amino acid. Beta testing generally white solids, exception nicotine is a brown liquid. Nicotine is a brown liquid. They give a precipitate with heavy metal iodides. Caffeine, a purine derivative, doesn't precipitate like most alkaloids. Alkaloids are basic. They form water-soluble salts. Most alkaloids are well-defined crystalline substances which unite with acids to form salts. In plants, they may exist in the free state as salts or as nitrogen oxides. Occur in a limited number of plants. Nucleic acid exists in all plants, whereas morphine exists in only one plant species. Have high pharmacological and physiological activities. But now we can ask why alkaloids are acid in nature. Alkaloids usually contain one nitrogen atom, although some like ergotamine may contain up to 5 nitrogen atoms. The nitrogen may exist as primary amine, secondary amine, or tertiary amine. My dear students, in first semester we took a lecture about this topic, about amines. I hope you remember what is primary, secondary, and tertiary amine. And in next slide I will repeat for you the structure of these amines, and you will recognize this information. We will repeat this information again. Because the nitrogen atom contains a shared pair of electrons, so alkaloids are basic and resemble harmonious chemical properties. The degree of basicity varies greatly depending on the structure of the molecule and the presence and location of other functional groups. But in this slide you can see the structure of primary amine. I think you remember what is primary amine, when nitrogen binded just with one carbon atom. This is primary amine. Secondary amine, when nitrogen atom binded with 2 carbon atoms. This is secondary amine, they are basic. Tertiary amine, when nitrogen binded with 3 carbon atoms. What is me? This is methyl group. Is with radical. And at last, quaternary amine. This is neutral. When nitrogen atom binded with 4 carbon atoms. Amide alkaloid. This is amide alkaloid, also neutral. And phenolic alkaloid has acidic and basic properties. Basic properties. Why? Because another benzene ring contain OH group. This is phenol ring, and acidic property. This is related to the pyridine ring, the ring of the heterocycle. Occurrence of alkaloids. occur in bacteria and rarely in fungi. Example from psilocybin from hallucinogenic mushrooms. Some alkaloids occur in several genera from different species, caffeine, but most occur in closely related species. Some occur in certain families, hyoscyamin, while others occur only in specific species, morphine. Rarely, two plants contain more than one type of alkaloid, and all alkaloids of one plant will have a common biogenetic origin. Alkaloids. Alkaloids occur in all plant parts, but are usually localized in one organ. For example, the bark or the seeds. Within the plant, alkaloid can vary widely from part to part. Some parts may contain no alkaloids. Occasionally, different alkaloids also form in different parts of the plant. Alkaloid concentrations occur in wide ranges. But for example, Madagascar periwinkle, Latin language Vinca grossia, contains 3 grams per ton. This is anti-cancer alkaloid of leaves. About the classification of alkaloids, let me show you the classification of alkaloids, because the classification of alkaloids are also important information for you, my dear students. Alkaloids have a large variety in their botanical and biochemical origin, in chemical structure and pharmaceutical action. Therefore, like flavonoids, a range of different classification systems exist for grouping alkaloids. They can therefore be classified according to their biological origin. Chemical structure has 2 divisions: atypical non-heterocyclic alkaloids, protoalkaloids, or the biological amines. Typical heterocyclic alkaloids divided into 14 groups according to their ring structure and the biosynthetic pathway. We can classify our alkaloid to terpenoid indole alkaloids, benzyl isoquinoline alkaloids, tropan alkaloids, purine alkaloids, pyrrolizine alkaloids, other alkaloids, guanylazine, steroidal glycoalkaloids. Terpenoid indole alkaloids has a large group of about 3,000 compounds. Indole provided by tryptamine derived from tryptophan. What is tryptophan? This is amino acid and a terpenoid component. Monoterpenoid indole alkaloid, the iridoid glycoside, cyclogene, derived from the monoterpene geraniol and tryptamine. Benzyl isoquinoline alkaloids, a large and diverse class present in a range of plant families. The first biosynthetic step is decarboxylation. What is decarboxylation? I think you remember. This is when we'll remove from our compound carbon dioxide. Is a decarboxylation of tyrosine by tyrosine decarboxylase. Tyrosine decarboxylase, this is enzyme, to form tyramine. Coupling of two tyramine derivatives yield as norcochlorine. Norcochlorine is the precursor of several zooxanth benzyl quinoline alkaloids. Plants containing these alkaloids have been used throughout history as poisons, but many of the alkaloids do have valuable pharmaceutical properties, of course. Known to be present in the Solanaceae family, this is botanical name. I think that all teachers of the pharmacognosy, they know about it. The cocaine was found in very small amounts in the original Coca-Cola formula, but wasn't the main concern of the industry at the time. Caffeine was considered to be the major problem with the drink, the structure of the cocaine and the tropin. Purine alkaloids, caffeine, the most important example in coffee, tea, mate, cacao, and camellia. Purine alkaloid biosynthesis starts with xanthosine, a nucleotide degradation product. Pyrrolizidine alkaloids, the leading plant toxins. Over 360 different structures found in 3% of the world flowering plants, primarily restricted to borygenic. This is our flower. This is plant. They are our plants. Most of them are esters of basic alcohols known as nicotine bases. As I told you, later I will repeat again, alkaloids are because repetition, every time we say that repetition is the mother of the study. Alkaloids are broadly classified into two classes depending upon whether the nitrogen is a part of the ring or not. First one, non-heterocyclic alkaloids or atypical alkaloids, and heterocyclic alkaloids or the typical alkaloids. Non-heterocyclic compounds, heterocyclic alkaloids, these are also sometimes called proto-alkaloids or the biological amines. These are less commonly found in nature as molecules have a nitrogen atom which is not included in ring system. Examples of this include ephedrine, colchicine, erythromycin, and taxol. Now I will show you the structure of ephedrine and colchicine, the structure of these alkaloids. Then erythromycin structure, taxol and structure. Nitrogen not in cycle, nitrogen not in cycle. Also, but in ephedrine and in colchicine, nitrogen not in cycle, nitrogen not in cycle. Heterocyclic alkaloids or the typical alkaloids I told before, structurally these have the nitrogen as a part of the cycle. These are more commonly found in nature. Heterocyclic alkaloids are further subdivided into 14 groups based on the ring structure containing the nitrogen. Pyrrole or the pyrrolidine alkaloids, the structure of pyrrole, the structure of the pyrrolidine, and which example is hygrine. They are examples of the pyrrole or the pyrrolidine alkaloids. Hygrine. Pyrrolizidine, the alkaloid of the pyrrolizidine, this is synexanin. Synexanin, this alkaloid of the pyrrolidine. like derivative of the pyridine. Then pyridine and piperidine alkaloids. This is nicotine. The structure of pyridine and pyridine. And cocaine, the alkaloid of trypan. This trypan alkaloid. Then guanylate alkaloid, this guanine, and isoguanylate alkaloid is М.Ментен. And in all structures you can see that nitrogen in this cycle, not outside of the cycle. Apurfin alkaloids baldine and tretizine is alkaloid of the guanylidine. Indole alkaloid stigmine and pilocarbin is alkaloid of indolizidine. Imidazole alkaloid pilocarpine and purine alkaloid, this is caffeine, where we can find caffeine in tea, in coffee, in chocolates. Steroidal alkaloid, this is quinidine, and terpenoid alkaloid, this is aconine. They have not so easy structure. Usually alkaloids we can use in medicine, in pharmacy. And alkaloids in modern medicine, atropine is an antidote to nerve gas poisoning, codeine, morphine, analgesic, painkiller. For example, morphine and codeine we can use when we have very strong pain. The analgesics. Then caffeine, central nerve system stimulant. But usually we have the persons which has less blood pressure. When we have this blood pressure, we can drink a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, or chocolate, but it will increase the blood pressure, our blood pressure. But if you have the high blood pressure, don't drink the coffee, because it will bad effect to your organism. And we can't drink a lot of tea and of course a lot of coffee per day. Guanine anti-malarial compound, the stage exploration of the tropics. And sun-guanylin antibacterial showing anti-plagiar activity used in toothpaste and oral rinses. This is about the biosynthesis of the morphine obtained from the opium poppy papaver. This is this plant, somniferum, used in medical field for relief the pain since early 1500. Codeine occurs naturally, which simply the methyl ether of morphine and converted to morphine in the body, used in prescription couch medicines and as analgesic. And of course, heroin doesn't occur naturally but synthesized in laboratory by deacylation of morphine. You know that morphine, heroin, they are narcotics. They are related to the narcotic compounds. And this is the atropine sulfate. This atropine sulfate we can use as inject And for the eyes, we can use atropine sulfase. This coffee arabica, caffeine, the structure of caffeine. Tests, you know that each compound needs in quantitative and the qualitative analysis. But these tests we can use for the identification of the alkaloids. Most alkaloids are precipitated from neutral or the slightly acidic solution by the Dragendorf reagent, solution of potassium bismuth iodide, orange colored precipitate. Myers reagent, potassium mercuric iodide solution, cream colored precipitate. Wagner's reagent, iodine in potassium iodide, red brown precipitate. And Hedger's reagent, picric acid, yellow precipitate. Caffeine doesn't precipitate. Test for alkaloids is for you with some, for example, for the Myers reagent, this is white precipitate. For the Dragendorf reagent, this is orange precipitate. Wagner's, this is red brown, and Hedger's, this is yellow precipitate. And last conclusion, alkaloids have high pharmacological and physiological activities on the central nervous system. They are depressants, morphine, or stimulants as caffeine. On the autonomic nervous system, anticholinergic, atropine, hyoscyamin. In addition, alkaloids include local anesthetic like cocaine, agents to treat fibrillation, quinidine, anti-tumor agents, vinblastine, antimalarials, quinine, antibacterial, berberin. Occur naturally, which simply the methyl ether of morphine and converted to morphine in the body, used in prescription couch medicines and as analgesic. Atropine is used as a depot to nerve gas poisoning. My dear students, I think that I hope that you took for you the net information for you, and but this all information, they are possible informations, they are important informations. And at last, I wish you all good luck and good health in this time. And thank you for your listening. Wish you see soon during lesson. Goodbye, everyone.